the Games of Skill Act, as it's commonly referred to, is the first of its kind, not just in India, but probably globally as well. And what it has done is that, playing within the federal structure of the Constitution of India, it has managed to bring about a regime whereby through a license you can operate in any other state in the country, as long as that other state also recognizes a game of skill to be not gambling. It's important to understand, in India, under our constitution, there are two divisions. One is gambling and one is games of skill. If it is a game of skill, whether played for profit or stake or wager or betting, it cannot amount to gambling. So 5 judges of the Supreme Court have said that in a judgment called R.M. Bagwala. Taking a cue from there, we are saying every state in India, this is a genuine business. So like an e-commerce site, for instance, I may be registered out of Delhi, I may be operating from Delhi, but can someone in Bombay stop me from selling, a pair of shoes? They can't, unless they say, sorry, the pair of shoes are not legal in Bombay, right? In that precursor, through that license, all territories are available except for 2 in India. There are different games which have been put in. For instance, you've got poker, you've got rummy, you've got bridge, chess, sudoku, mind games, you've got action, virtual war games, because they are also taking into consideration e-sports. So, you have world championships in e-sports which happen globally. This was the first time that someone from India qualified last year. And that was something that was taken cognizance of by the committee which was set up by the Nagaland government. So it's trying to, cover all skill sets. It's not just poker and rummy. It really is overarching. I think it's going to have a massive impact on valuations because, see, what are the problems that the industry is facing today? One, there was before a licensing regime an element of uncertainty. There was an element of grey. Are you completely kosher or legit or not? There were questions which were raised not just by the players, but by the authorities, by the competitors, and by the investment bankers or the private equity funds or the venture capitalists. Today, there is going to be a regime which is going to say, we've audited you financially, legally, and technologically. You're kosher, you're good, and therefore with this license, you're good to operate. This would also, according to me, open up Google advertising and all the other advertising venues. I think it could be a game changer. I'd love one individual to make a law. One has to understand how laws are made. These are not done overnight. This is not a signature and a sign off and suddenly you've got a law. 62 legislators sit together and vote. When the bill was introduced, it was not passed by the House. The House said, sorry, appoint a committee. We don't know what this is all about. We want a deeper analysis. Do these games really qualify for online skill? They are very clear. They want prohibition of gambling. No one seems to be looking at that. This is prohibition of gambling and regulating something which is a game of skill, which is a mind sport. Post the tabling of the bill, a committee of 5 members of the opposition was formed. This is on record. They analyzed this over 6 months. There were representations made to them by various stakeholders. Post that, they said, yes, we believe XYZ changes need to be done, and then it could perhaps become a law. Then it is presented to the cabinet. The cabinet analyzes it. Once the cabinet internally discusses, then it's placed before the House. There are debates, or there is a discussion, or there is a voting by ballot, and then it becomes a law. Even then actually it doesn't become a law. Post that, it has to go to the law ministry of the state. It has to go to the governor of the state. It has to be gazetted. If one man could pull this off, hats off. It's not possible. So over the past couple of years, there have been serious and giant strides forward in legitimizing poker and it being a game of skill. This to me is the final one, a very, very important one, because legislatively this is the only one in India, and again I reiterate, probably one of the only ones globally, which says that online poker is a game of skill, and online other games which have been mentioned that are games of skill. But also the West Bengal Act, ever since 1957, used to say that poker is a game of skill. You've got the Bangalore High Court, which has been reiterating that since 2011. You've got Calcutta High Court in 2015, and a very important development that took place very recently, where there was this one judgment of a lower court, of a trial court in Delhi, which said that no, these are not games of skill. Even rummy is not a game of skill if played online, it might be offline. That judgment got set aside, which means that it is a positive reaffirmation that these are all games of skill, there is nothing illegal in it, and these are genuine business ventures. In fact, a number of states, I believe, I've been given to understand, are also stating at an executive level that these are games of skill and you can provide training and coaching and hold. Poker schools are starting with the sanction and permission of the government, which means it has to be a game of skill. You can't have it any other way. So playing live, I think, has its share of problems. I believe that online is safer than offline. The reason is not that the skill sets differ, the skill sets remain the same. But in offline, the authorities, or especially the police at times, can create problems because they don't have a recording of what game is going on. So they just need to make an allegation, oh, this is not Texas Hold'em poker, but this is a 3-card flash. And then suddenly you go into a loop, it's their word against yours, and you're in trial. There's a lot of cash element which is involved with offline, which is again perceptibly not very comfortable for the authorities. So I think as of today, online poker is definitely at a more recognized, legitimate level than offline. Some precautions need to be taken. Offline will also get there. Sure. Yeah, but I think it's just got to be thought out a bit. Well, as I said earlier, it takes time to make a law. It's not easy to get a law made, right? I can tell you for a fact that other states are exploring. They're trying to understand what it's all about. It's constitutional law as well, which is involved, very deep constitutional law. Once they understand the parameters, which some have already, they are going to initiate the process, but it's going to take a year or two for anyone else to come up with it, according to me. Also, in time, the end game and the end solution should be that all states do evolve this practice, right? Because again, with the GST kicking in, hopefully in a year, maybe 2, that's the general sales tax, and the center getting involved in it, the state getting involved in it, there will need to be a mechanism within the states and the center how this is going to go. Right now, I believe Nagaland has taken a huge lead, and it'll be difficult for other states to catch up. I see online poker being in India where it was in Europe in the late 90s, early 2000s. And now I see us coming out of the grey. I see us being a lot more legit and recognized, regimented, regulated. Funds flowing in, and it's already spreading like wildfire. But mainstream advertising hasn't started. Once that starts, that's where the real action will begin. And I think the advantage that the party pokers of the world had in Europe in 2002, 2003, when they were going in for the listing, that's where Indian poker industry is poised today. Either you're there or you're not there, and it's going to be a mad race.